Welcome to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where there is growing angst as Brady Hoke's Wolverines have lost 7 of their last 11 games dating back to last year. It doesn't get much easier today. The Utah Utes come to town, led by quarterback Travis Wilson. He's a big man with big play capability, and he leads the nation's 3rd highest scoring offense into a Pac-12 Big Ten battle in the Big House. Overcast, warm, humid. Chance of severe weather today here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and as usual, a crowd of more than 100,000 will be on hand to watch the Wolverines as they play host to the Utah Utes. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman. Delighted to have you with us. In the Utes and Wolverines, we have 2 programs that haven't been as successful lately as they are accustomed to being. Both teams believe they're on the way back up this year. The talent level is better. And, Chris, if they're going to have a successful season, today is a huge game for both teams.
Oh, absolutely. I think it sets them up for their conference play. But let's look at Michigan first. I think they're better because their defense is better. Greg Madison has that front 7 playing. The back 4s come along. Also, the offensive line is protecting better, run blocking better. And, Sean, the one thing about Michigan, what they have this year that they didn't have last year, is a pretty productive running game.
They've been inconsistent, and that really is a mirror of their quarterback, Devin Gardner. In particular, he's a young man who needs to cut down on the mistakes and turnovers.
Yeah, and Devin Gardner has potential. When you look at Devin Gardner, this is the one thing I like about him. When they put him in a position to get a pre-snap read, right there, he's going to recognize the blitz. The rush is man-to-man. And when you have 6'5", 230-pound Devin Funchess one-on-one, throw the ball out there and let him go get it. He's a weapon for Michigan. I expect them to hit Devin at least 10 to 12 times today.
Michigan is 2-1, but the 2 wins against lesser competition. The 1 loss was a shellacking, a shutout at Notre Dame. Meanwhile, Utah comes here 2-0. They're averaging 57.5 points per game, but that was against Idaho State and Fresno State. They know they're making a big step up in competition today, led by Travis Wilson.
Well, Travis Wilson, to me, is a dual threat. Now, at 6'7", you don't say that about a lot of guys, but he's very athletic. He can run. And the biggest thing about Travis from last year to this year, he's cut down on his interceptions. He's been making good decisions, and he has a lot of weapons out on the edge. Number 2, Kenneth Scott, very strong. Also, Drez Anderson, explosive, the deep guy. Then Kalen Clay can get in the game at wide receiver, but he's most dangerous returning the football.
The Utes and the Wolverines, and the kickoff from Michigan Stadium right after this. This is the 3rd meeting all time between Utah and Michigan. All 3 of them here at Michigan Stadium. The Wolverines won in 2002. Utah won here in 2008. They'll play again next year in Salt Lake City. It was a memorable game in 2008. To start the year was actually the first game for Rich Rodriguez as Michigan coach. Brian Johnson had a huge day, hit Brandon Godfrey for a touchdown late in the 2nd quarter. Utah led at the half 22-10. Michigan battled back. Stephen Threet to Junior Hemingway, 33 yards, made it 25-17. Sam McGuffey ran one in. The Wolverines got within 2, but that's as close as they got. Utah won 25-23, the start of a perfect 13-0 season that ended with an upset win over Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. 75 degrees and humid. We had gusty winds here for most of the morning and early afternoon. We had a brief rain shower about a half hour ago that diminished the winds somewhat, but the forecast is for off and on showers and the possibility of some severe weather. Utah won the toss and deferred, so Michigan elected to receive the opening kick, and it'll come from a great weapon. Dennis Norfleet back with a kick from Andy Phillips. 14 touchbacks in 17 kickoffs this season. Of course, all of those have been at about 4,600 feet of elevation in Salt Lake City. Doesn't have the advantage of the altitude here today. For the first time since 1973, white helmets for the Utah players, and they're excited about it. And a good kick. About 8 yards deep. Northfleet didn't try to run it out. Devin Gardner is the starting quarterback for Michigan. Local product from the Detroit area, Inkster High School, 5th-year senior, a dual threat. And this year, all of his touchdowns, which he's been responsible, have been through the air. Needs to cut down on the turnovers. He's already thrown 4 interceptions. Michigan is -7 for the year in turnover margin, averaging nearly 29 points per game despite that. They've been one of the worst in the country in the turnover area. Play fake by Gardner. Throws, caught, 39-yard line. Devin Funchess back in action after sitting out their win against Miami of Ohio here a week ago. 14-yard game.
Well, it's nice to have the target and your favorite receiver back in the mix, and a good start for Devin Gardner because he was able to layer that in there over the linebackers and under the safeties, trusting that the 6'5" Funchess will go up at the highest point and get it.
Derek Green is the running back. They're trying to get back to good old-fashioned Michigan power football in the run game with the new offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier. He goes ahead for 2. Eric Rowe, a fine cornerback, made the tackle as we look out today's impact players.
Start with Derek Green, down 20 pounds from last year. Watch him today. Has really good vision for a running back. Funchess, you saw him make the impact already. And on defense, Orchard will line up a defensive end in all types of linebacker positions and a good pass rusher, Hunter Dimmick.
Utes lead the nation in sacks per game, 5.5 through their first 2 games. Green running left to the 43-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Jared Norris made the tackle for Utah.
Well, it's interesting right now. I don't see Funchess out on the field, and this is his territory. You see him getting worked on after taking a good shot after the first completion, but that's a big loss if he can't participate in these 3rd down and 6 and shorts because of his size. They like the matchup.
Out of the gun. Michigan quite deliberate on offense. Utah is a high-tempo team. Gardner will run for it. And weaves his way across midfield. Then high-stepped along the sideline. Belted out of bounds by Brian Blecken. But Gardner got plenty more than enough. They needed 6. He got 18.
Well, what I like about this, Sean, is the patience. First of all, he's not rushing out of the pocket, but in the awareness to know I need 6 to keep the chains moving, tucks it and goes, and you know that he's an athlete when he has that ball in his hands running down the field. And Utah's lucky that they don't get 15 right there. He was out of bounds. It came late, as you hear the
crowd booing. They just saw the same replay that you saw. Like in a senior, one of their 4 team captains. One of the reasons they think they'll be better this year. He missed all of last season with a knee injury. Derek Green turns the corner and got chopped down along the far boundary by Dominique Hatfield, a new starter at cornerback. He's a 2-way player. Will play some wide receiver as well. That's a gain of 7 for the Wolverines.
Well, he makes their running game better, and I'm talking about a Derek Green that came in shape, that came in focused. And a lot of times he was injured a little bit last year, overweight, dropped that weight from 240 down to 220, and he uses explosiveness because he has that power and speed, and he's not carrying that extra barbell around his weight.
Last year averages 3.2 yards per carry, 6.6 to this point this year. They feed him again. He does not get to the line. Stuffed by the front of that Utah defense. We talked to Kalani Sitake, the defensive coordinator for Utah, last night. He said, we pride ourselves and have for a long time as a program at stopping the run. We're going to load up the box. We hope it's a smash mouth football game.
Yeah, they like to do that by playing man defense behind that. Didn't do very well against Idaho State, improved against Fresno State, and they will be tested today.
Another 3rd down. 3rd and 4. It's a long 4. Nearly a full 5. They rushed 5 and didn't get there, and the pass is caught, but it appears to be short of the first down. Jake Butt, the tight end, tackled by Jared Norris, and Michigan's going to go for it. They're lining up very quickly. Trying to catch Utah off guard. The crowd likes it. Gardner surges ahead for a first down 4 minutes into the first quarter.
A good call by Michigan and awareness. Good coaching to get everybody in, understanding the situation. Safe call with Jack Miller, number 60. Pretty explosive at the center position. Get down there and drive for the first down.
Well, a good start for Michigan would help the mood of this crowd. They had a sloppy first half last week against Miami of Ohio, and the Boo Birds were out. There are many in Wolverine Nation who are not particularly pleased with Brady Hope. Green got a yard. Eric Rowe helped drive him back with help from Gianni Paul, a transfer from Miami of Florida, who's playing in his first game today for Utah. Sat out all of last year as a transfer and then had a foot injury in the preseason. So he has been itching to go. Funches is back out there for Michigan.
Gianni Paul got his shoes knocked off. He hit him so hard he knocked him out of his shoes. Good, the officials gave him time to get it set.
5 minutes in, 10th play of the drive. Michigan averages 30 seconds per play on offense. Only Army operates more slowly. They're deliberate. And the pass is incomplete. Intended for J.U. Chesson. And Eric Rowe had the coverage as a senior. He's his first season as a cornerback after being a 3-year starter at safety.
Well, he looks like a natural corner right here. What I love, Sean, and we don't see this much in college football, corners tend to panic. There's no panic here. Go up and play the hands and trust your training, in which he did.
Another third down and 9. Over the middle, incomplete, intended for Funches, but into a crowd. And that's the kind of thing, Chris, that they don't want Gardner to do. You're in field goal range, and he really ran the risk of an interception.
I think Devin kind of locked in on Funches right here, and that's a catchable ball. Now, it would have been a great catch, but one he's certainly capable of making. But you see there's 4 Utes around Funches. That's where you have to find your outlet or tuck it and run.
Matt Wild had an up and down year, just 3 for 6 as their field goal kicker. This is a 42-yarder, and it is good. He missed a couple at Notre Dame when they got shut out for the first time in 30 years. He seems to be back on track. Good opening drive for Michigan, and the Wolverines lead 3-0. The Utah Utes trail 3-0. He's in his 10th year as head coach at Utah, up to a 2-0 start with easy wins against opponents not as strong as they're facing today. Idaho State and Fresno State. They've scored a zillion points, 115 in the first 2 games, the most in the history of the program. And they played good defense. Little pooch kickoff to keep it away from the dangerous Kalen play. And Utah will begin as Evan Eggeman caught it at the 32-yard line. Christian Drews actually caught it, 37, not 31. Here's Travis Wilson. Only Gunnar Kiel of Cincinnati has a higher passer rating so far this year, and he's played just 1 game against Toledo. 5 touchdown passes against Fresno State, and he played just more than half the game. One of the benefits for Utah with those 2 lopsided wins, the backups have played a lot of snaps in the second half, first 2 games. Out throwing is Wilson to Kenneth Scott. And a quality gain out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 5. Blake Countess made the tackle. And the Utes come here with a week off. Their last game was 2 weeks ago. They arrived here Thursday night to adjust to the 2-hour difference in time zone. Bubba Poole slipped down as he tried to cut, and then Countess covered him up.
Well, they're going to operate at high tempo. They like to get a playoff within 20 seconds. And important for them to get first downs, because one concern they had was wearing their defense out by getting off the field with 3 and outs. So this is a big drive for them.
They want to snap the ball within 20 seconds if they can. Wilson throws. Scott has work to do, and he can't do it. Driven back by Jabril Peppers, a true freshman defensive back. Highly recruited out of East Orange, New Jersey. They think he's going to be a star.
Well, I think he's going to be a star, too, because watch him break on this football. Then he runs through his target. And believe me, Kenneth Thomas is not easy to bring down. But when you have that kind of break that early, you're able to get it going.
Both Kyle Whittingham and the OC, Dave Christensen, said we have to avoid 3 and outs, as you said, Chris. And sure enough, a 3 and out to start the game. They have a great punter in Tom Hackett, leading the nation in punting, native Australian with that rugby-style punt. Dennis Northleaf, the second of Hackett's 9 punts this year to be returned. Brian Blecken made the tackle. 47-yard punt, 9-yard run back by Northleaf.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind. And Allstate. Are you in good hands?
You can see how excited the Utah players were on September 8th when their alternate white helmets were unveiled. Utah last wore white helmets 1968 through 1973. Nate Orchard was modeling them for his teammates, wearing them for the first time today.
It's amazing what uniforms do for kids nowadays. It really is. I mean, just give me a shirt, pants, and let's go. Helmet's a helmet. Man.
You were not a fashionista when you played for the Buckeyes?
That's safe to say.
Davion Smith gets nothing on his first carry of the day. Here's Robert Flores back in the studio.
Let's go inside the headset. AT&T. Alabama, Florida. Kenyon Drake goes 0 to 100 real quick. Blake Sims to Kenyon Drake. First play from scrimmage for Alabama. They lead the Florida Gators 7-0 in the first quarter. Sean.
Wow.
Your attention, please. Zach Verschuer, please.
Injured player here is Clint Shepard, junior defensive lineman. He's had a good start to the year. He is limping off under his own power. His first year playing at Utah. He walked on in 2012 out of junior college, redshirted, and then was injured last year and didn't play. But he's already had 3 tackles for loss in their first 2 games of the year.
Well, he's a solid football player, and when you play against a team like Michigan, the one place you don't want to suffer injuries is the inside or the middle of your defense. And he's stout in there. We'll see if he'll be able to come out. Moko Fisi, number 45, will replace him.
Redshirt freshman, who they think is going to be a star. His dad, Filippo Mokafisi Sr., was a great player at Utah back in the 80s. Over the middle, Funchess couldn't hang on. High throw by Gardner, and Funchess got walloped by Blecken. He has a reputation as a hard hitter, and he's living up to it.
Well, again, I'm watching Devin Gardner. He's locked in on Funchess. And this just shows courage by a wide receiver. And it's very difficult when you catch the ball at its highest point. And Blecken times it perfectly. And I love how he gets his helmet out of the way so he doesn't get a penalty or targeting, and makes a good, solid football play leading with the shoulder.
I think that's the way everybody in college football would like to see players tackle. Hard, without leading with the helmet. 3rd down and 10. Gardner throws. Funchess on the near sideline. He's in bounds and has a first down with a 19-yard gain with Blecken and Eric Rowe nearby.
Well, the game plan is bunches and Funchess because that's where they're going. And that's all they're going to right now. And this is a cover 2. Now, Rowe was late getting back into his spot. He has to understand where the sticks are and getting the idea that, hey, the game plan for the Blue is to go to Funchess every time. Take him out first, then rally on the ball.
17 straight games with a catch for the junior from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Gardner hit as he throws, and it's caught by Funchess. Out of bounds at the Utah 33. Jared Norris the tackle. That's 24 more. Gardner to Funches.
Well, and a good job by Gardner hanging in that pocket and throwing his man open. Throwing to the spot, understanding that the big man Funches is going to run to the football. When you get Funches on the linebacker, that's a win-win all day long for the Wolverines.
19 catches, leads the team, and bear in mind he didn't play at all last week against Miami with a leg injury suffered near the end of their loss at Notre Dame. Off the field for a moment is Funches. Green stopped at the line of scrimmage and a flag thrown. Gianni Paul with the tackle. This is a non-conference game. Big Ten officials led by the referee Sean Smith.
Holding, offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Eric Magnuson, the left guard.
See right here, big Mags inside. It's tough run blocking. See, he got beat with that quick swim, so you do panic a little bit. And sometimes you take a shot as an offensive lineman. They're not going to see if I tackle the guy. And he did. They called it. They were right on top of it. You don't see holding a lot in inside run plays. That was evident.
Offensive line was a big problem for Michigan last year as they went 7-6. Dennis Northley to the 39-yard line. Dominique Hatfield made the tackle for Utah. So look at the offensive line. They've already given up 6 sacks. Mason Cole is a true freshman, the first in the history of Michigan to start a season opener on the offensive line as a true freshman. And Brady Hook said yesterday, we don't really notice him that much, and that's a good thing.
That's good things for offensive tackles. He does a good job, good with his feet and patient in his pass pro.
Tarpon Springs, Florida. Gardner immediately under duress, throws it, dropped by Joe Carriage in the flat. And the pressure sped up the play.
Well, that's Orchard coming off from the outside linebacker spot, and they move him around all over that defense, Sean, to get the matchups that they want where they think Orchard could exploit. Right there on the outside, he comes untouched, getting in the throwing lane and disrupting it of Devin Gardner.
2 out of 4 on 3rd down. They've converted a 4th down. They've had the ball for almost the entire first quarter. Their first possession was 12 plays. Inside handoff on 3rd and 16 that draws groans from the crowd. Justice Hayes, who's their 3rd down back, taken down by Jared Norris. They were just perhaps trying to get into field goal range.
If I'm getting in the field goal range, I might want to throw the football to get in the field goal range, because that's whatever wins there, that would be into the win. Now they're playing field position, trusting their defense to make the play, but very conservative call, too conservative for my liking.
Will Hogrup punting to Kalen Clay. But a punt return for a touchdown in the opener against Idaho State. The first time he touched the ball as a Ute. Well played by the Wolverines special teams. J.U. Chesson, well positioned, a 33-yard punt. Football action continues. The big one on ABC tonight. 22nd ranked Clemson in Tallahassee to take on top-ranked Florida State. 8 Eastern, Saturday Night Football presented by Wells Fargo. Of course, the big story, Florida State will be without the Heisman Trophy winner, Jameis Winston, suspended for the entire game. Originally was to be suspended for the first half, but last night, Florida State announced he would not play at all. On first down from their own 3-yard line, Utah gets a little space on the pass from Travis Wilson and Kevin Scott. So Sean McGuire is the quarterback tonight for the Noles. Just 26 career passes. His first career start out of New Jersey, Seton Hall Prep. To the run with Bubba Poole. And Chris, it's early in the game, but Utah desperately needs a first down. The time of possession is 9 minutes for Michigan, just over 2 minutes for Utah. Michigan's run 18 plays, Utah 5.
What they're trying to do is throw the ball on first down, hoping to loosen the run defense of the Wolverines. And right now, that plan is not working, so you start throwing it on first and second down to loosen them up so you can run the ball.
Michigan blitzes. It's a screen to Bubba Poole. He gets a good block on the edge, and now he's off and running. Only one man can catch him. And what a great effort to run him down. Jordan Lewis was the only Wolverine with a chance. And it was a great block by the left tackle, Jeremiah Potasi, who got him off and running for 67.
Well, they catch him in the blitz, and nobody peeled on the back out of the blitz, which is a mental error. But I want to tell you something. Jordan Lewis comes from way behind, outruns 2 wide receivers for Utah to make the effort play and the touchdown saving play.
One of those wide receivers for Utah has to block him somehow. Travis Wilson, Chris said earlier, good runner even at 6'7". Tackled by Brennan Byer after a gain of about 3. And we talked to him last night, Chris, and he is every bit of 6'7".
Yeah, he is, and he's confident, and he's very comfortable in this offense, and the reason being is Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, takes reads away from him. He knows where he's going with the football right now.
Goes to Tim Patrick, former walk-on, just put on scholarship, and he has a first down. Jabril Peppers made the tackle, the pickup of 8 for Utah.
Well, there's your game plan right there. They're going to see soft coverage out on the corner, so we're going to run a hitch into the boundary and slants into the field. If he sees that corner off, it's an easy pitch and catch, and he's capable of putting that ball in the numbers every single time.
Both these teams have been good in the red zone this year. Trouble on the exchange, and Wilson got it back. Mario Ojamudia took him down. The loss on the play back to the 18-yard line.
It's a gratuitous bounce. Otherwise, you're pointing the other way. Usually they're solid in their ball handling, and Wilson right there, right before holding that fake, he took a couple shuffle steps back, which disrupted the timing of the hand.
Utah's committed only 1 turnover this season, but they've had only 1 takeaway. Swing pass, Poole bobbled it and caught it, and he's in trouble and down for another loss. James Ross, linebacker, rallied quickly.
Those plays rely on such timing, and any type of bobble or throw that's behind the intended receiver, that allows the defense to work off in space of the other blockers and make plays. If that's timed well, Sean, he's catching it in rhythm. He's got an open lane.
Loss of 3 followed by a loss of 1. They're to 3rd down and 14. To the pistol now with Poole on the right hip of Wilson. Wilson throws single coverage too high, intended for Drez Anderson, their best receiver, with Jordan Lewis in coverage, and Utah will attempt a field goal.
It's a nice job by Jordan Lewis. Watch, he's going to force Anderson inside to where his help is. You see him use his hands, disrupting the timing of the route, and it has Wilson thinking he's going outside, but because of Jordan Lewis did a good job of stunning his route, forced him inside in a miscommunication between quarterback and receiver.
Phillips has tried only 1 field goal all year. He made it from 47 in their win at home against Fresno State. This is a 35-yard try. Well, a 25-year-old former member of the U.S. ski team. And it is good. Well, much needed sustained drive for Utah. 9-play drive. The key play, that screen pass to Bubba Poole. But Lewis saved the touchdown, and instead the Utes got 3. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, without our friend and colleague Todd McShay today. Todd was here this morning, but got the call that his wife Lauren has gone into labor. They've been expecting their first child, and we're awaiting the good news. We wish them well.
Don't fumble, Todd. Ball security, Todd.
Andy Phillips kicks off for Utah after his field goal tied it. But it looked like it was going to be a touchdown to take the lead for the Utes.
Well, this is a play that I would start my team meeting off with, because this wins football games. Jordan Lewis, number 26, all the way at the other side of the field. Now, this is an effort play, and he is faster than the Utah wide receivers. Because of his speed, his effort, never give in. He saved 4 points because they got the field goal. Then also, Sean, he followed up with excellent coverage on Drez Anderson when they tried to exploit him on the takeoff down in the end zone.
I still think if one of those wide receivers was a little more attentive to the situation in the very beginning and perhaps ran a little faster the entire way, they might have found a way to get in the way. However, that might be wrong too. Freddie Canteen. Run out by Tevin Carter, senior safety man from Los Angeles. Didn't play at all last year while he was trying to get his academic house in order in junior college at El Camino. Loss of 3.
Yeah, I want to go back to that play because it's so important. Because Drez Anderson thought Jordan Lewis was out of the play because of the alignment. The screen was opposite all the way to the other end of the field. He quit on that block.
High formation now behind Devin Gardner. Davion Smith, the tailback. Gardner in trouble. Got away from Nate Orchard and does not get away again. Jared Norris took him down at the 20-yard line.
Closing speed by Jared Norris. First of all, it's the pressure. Devin does a good job of getting outside and getting away from Orchard. Now he should throw it away. Don't run the football. Throw it away. You save yourself from 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 2.
Goes down as a sack. Loss of 2 in the final play of the first quarter. Hard-hitting first quarter here in Ann Arbor. And the Utes and Wolverines tied at 3.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
And we're very excited to be the home of the first college football playoff. 4 teams at the end of this season will play for the national championship. End of a quarter here, tied at 3. Michigan from its own 20, first play of the second quarter. 3rd down and 15. Just a 3-man rush toward Devin Gardner. Throws deep, had a man, but the throw was short of Devin Funchess.
Well, first of all, it's a nice route because it's a double move. They're going to go flag post. Watch Funchess go to the flag, and right there the post, and Devin Gardner has to have the arm strength to drill that in there because he had the safety underneath him, and that's what Doug Nussmeier's saying right now. That's a good read. We'll come back to it, and you'll get it next time.
The Utah defense starting to settle in. The last 6 snaps for Michigan have yielded just 2 yards of offense. Will Hagra punt. Kalen Clay, very dangerous return man. Only the punter to beat. And Hagra didn't get him out of bounds. Touchdown, Utah. Wow, what a great job to remain in bounds by Kalen Clay. Senior from Long Beach, California, will play just this 1 year at Utah. Already his 2nd punt return for a touchdown this year, and he brought back a kickoff against Idaho State. 66 yards on the return. After a 46-yard punt, and Utah leads for the first time today.
With about 2.0 hang time, which was enabled them to set up their return.
Andy Phillips kicks the extra point. Kalen Clay busted out the Heisman pose, made famous right here by Desmond Howard.
Welcome to ESPN College Football on ABC.
Let's take a look right here. There's something to be said about staying in your lanes. That means even dispersion throughout the field. They don't have that. Now watch number 52, Clegg. He's going to kick out James Ross. And because of the lack of integrity in staying in your lanes, there's an open hole right there, and you're putting Clay on a punter, and that's a mismatch. And he goes in the end zone and does a way too premature Heisman pose. Slow your roll, player. Not there yet.
Already 3 returns for touchdowns by Kalen Clay. He's still playing his way into shape. He arrived in fall camp. Andy Phillips' kick down by Dennis Norfleet. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Sean. Taco Bell studio update. Alabama quickly led 7-0, but the Florida Gators have scored 14 unanswered. The latest, DeAndrew White fumbles, Keanu Neal scoops and scores, and Alabama just missed a field goal, so the Gators lead 14-7. Right now on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app, BYU just scored a touchdown. That game is even at 10 with Virginia.
Virginia coming off that big win against Louisville. Wow, would it be a huge win if Florida could somehow beat Alabama. Will Muschamp in dire need of a big win with that Florida program. Derek Green with a big run. Out to the Michigan 45. Justin Thomas made the tackle. It's a gain of 20.
And Jack Miller, the center, is going to pull. You'll see number 60 come into your screen. And when you're a center, you can get outside and get a body on a defensive back. That's winning football right there. Excellent effort by Jack Miller and Derek Green. It's a skill set that NFL guys look for, Sean. Centers that can pull.
From Perrysburg, Ohio, not far from here, down in the Toledo area. After the play fake, dump to J.U. Chesson, and a good tackle in space by Justin Thomas, sophomore from Orange, Texas. Missed the first game of the year with a minor knee injury, and the coaches said they really missed him in that game. Their run defense was a lot better in the second week when he was back. Two tight ends now for Michigan on 2nd and 7. Green, nice cut, tripped up, and it looks like they're going to give him the bounce for the first down. Gianni Paul made the tackle, but they're going to spot it right on the Utah 45 and a first down for the Wolverines.
If you can get offensive linemen getting their shoulders turned when they pull, squaring up defenders, you're creating seams and gaps. You have to be able to have more integrity on that edge and force that ball to go sideways as opposed to north and south.
Eric Magnuson, a good block on Nate Orchard. He needs to do a better job of getting off a block like that. Gardner, another play action pass, just did dump it off, and it's incomplete. Green couldn't catch it. Brian Blecken came on a safety blitz to force the action.
Well, this is when you want to have the blitz on, when you have play action pass. Why? Because the quarterback turns his head to the line of scrimmage. He does not get his pre-snap read or his downfield read, and that forced Gardner to tuck it and almost made a good play shoveling, but not to be.
Neither Green nor Davion Smith, their top two running backs, has ever caught a pass for Michigan.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
They're both sophomores. Green almost had his first career reception. Green up the middle and stuffed and driven back by Jared Norris.
It's been solid so far. Good closing speed, outstanding tackle, staying high. Anytime you stay high in the tackle, that forces the ball carrier to go backwards. If you go low, they always fall forward. 3rd and 9.
Doug Nussmeier with a big play call here on 3rd down and 9 in his first season here after a couple of years in Alabama. It's the OC for Nick Saban.
Funchess right there has been his favorite target so far, especially in these situations.
Four-man rush, the pass deflected and falls incomplete. Hunter Dimmick got his hands up to knock it down.
Well, Hunter Dimmick's a smart football player. As a pass rusher, when you realize you're not going to get there because they have 3 of them on you, get into the throwing lane. Now, he was going to go to Funchess on the crossing route because that was the only man open. But recognition and intelligence by a defensive lineman, Hunter Dimmick.
Hogrup to punt again. The last one was returned for a touchdown by Kalen Clay. Fair catch made at the 11-yard line. 33-yard punt. Utah going back on offense with a 7-point lead.
comes college football on ABC. Brought to you by the Lexus GX. Dare to be spontaneous. Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed. And AT&T. Mobilizing your world.
Well, yesterday, some kayakers took advantage of a beautiful day to go paddling along the Huron River that runs along the south side of Ann Arbor. Not as nice a day here today. Cloudy skies, humid, temperature in the mid-70s. Had rain pregame, and it looks like it could rain again at any time. There is the possibility of some severe weather. Travis Wilson and the Utah Utes playing their first road game of the year, leading Michigan 10-3. Just more than 18 minutes have been played, and Utah's had the ball for 4 minutes, 57 seconds. A blitz off the corner. Wilson, a long ball. Incomplete, intended for Kenneth Scott, with Jordan Lewis in coverage.
You see right there the safety coming from his linebacker position. It's a good job of pick up. Now, what they tried to do, every play they've run so far, they've run a quick hitch. Well, they tried to double move Michigan, but Michigan and Jordan Lewis were very disciplined in their pass coverage. Wilson slings one to the far side of the field. Trez Anderson couldn't break the tackle of Blake Countess. And it'll be 3rd down and 4. We talked to Travis Wilson last night, Chris, about why he's been so efficient this year. He said this offense is simpler under Dave Christensen than what they've had in the past. There are a lot of similarities, but he thinks the reads are pretty easy. And oftentimes the receivers are open. Whoa! He goes up and over and takes a lick. Lost his helmet. Jake Ryan was there. Wilson slow to get up, and Utah fans are well aware that he suffered a concussion late last year that caused him to miss the last 3 games. Testing done at that time revealed that he had an intracranial artery problem, a brain abnormality that had them wondering if he'd ever be able to play football again. He underwent a number of tests throughout the offseason, wasn't cleared to play again until June. He thought his career might be over. He does wear a special helmet. He was told he was at no greater risk of doing serious damage for the short or long term if he continued to play football. Kendall Thompson, his backup, is warming up. And I admire Travis for his toughness, his willingness to give it up for the team.
They got a bloody nose. They all put their gloves on very quickly.
In that situation, you can see right there where I don't think he took a direct shot to the head. But in that situation, Travis has to understand when to slide, live to fight another down. And I admire his toughness in trying to go get a play. But when you leave your feet like that, Sean, and you got a pursuing defense like Michigan, you know that you're going to get a rat-a-tat-tat. There's the rat, there's a tat, and the ground's the other tat. And right there, that's this bad position. And kind of lucky that helmet flew off, to be honest with you, because it let him give a little bit.
A lot going on there. His neck really bent at an awkward angle. The helmet came off. His face scraped along the field turf. That might have been what caused him to be bloodied. Of course, your foremost concern, given his history, is of a head injury or a concussion. He'll go through the protocol.
And that's one thing we've gotten better in football, is going through those protocols to make sure there's no concussion-like symptoms.
Tom Hackett punts. Dennis Norfleet trying to get away, and he can't. Dominique Hatfield made the tackle. He definitely has a bloody nose, perhaps even a broken nose, as they check on that. 39-yard punt for a loss of 6 on the return. There's a look back to last year's game against Arizona State, early November. Head injury on that play in the 4th quarter. Had concussion-like symptoms, underwent a scan that revealed an enlarged intracranial artery that had calcified. And they worked him back very slowly. First, they told him, you can't do anything. You can't lift weights. You can't run. We don't want your heart rate up. And then gradually he got cleared to do some light lifting and slow running. He blended right in with us there. And they continued to do tests, cleared him to do more and more things, and he's back playing. Off and running is Derek Green. Run out of bounds by Dominique Hatfield.
Well, the improvement in Derek Green is the vision. You're going to see it right here. Watch the patience. Let the hole develop. He saw the vision to the left with a quick jump cut. Now, the one thing I would like to see him, Sean, is go north and south. To me, he made a decision to run right through those sidelines just a little too quick. But you can see the improvement of Derek Green from this year to last year.
12-yard gain. The line of scrimmage to Utah 46. They attack. Gardner, and they get him. Jared Norris, who's had a terrific first half, with another sack for the Utes.
Well, he has closing speed, and Jared Norris, number 41, is going to come all the way around from his inside linebacker position. They do a nice little stunt where he's got him on a delayed blitz, but with his closing speed, he's able to get there.
Well, Gardner's helmet came off. He would have to come off for a play, and I believe as a result of that, Michigan's called a timeout so he can stay in there. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, our producer Bo Garrett, our director Mike Schwab, our terrific crew. Delighted to have you with us from the Big House. Devin Gardner and the Michigan Wolverines trailing Utah 10-3. Michigan facing second down and 15.
Alert screens if you're Utah on each second down and long. Always alert screen.
5-man rush. Lots of time for Gardner. Now throws deep down the middle, up for grabs and broken up by Eric Rowe. Intended by J.U. Chesson.
Take a bow offensive line. Outstanding protection. There's just no separation created downfield. And I like this. You know, some people might be worried about Devin Gardner making that throw. Throw it up there and let your big, tall receivers go make a play. Give them a chance. An outstanding job by Chesson adjusting to this football and cutting off the defensive back.
Gardner won for his last 6. 3rd and 14. They bring pressure up the middle. Gardner flushed to his right. Found the tight end A.J. Williams, but he's out of bounds well shy of the first down at the Utah 43, about 7 yards shy of the marker. And with less than 10 minutes to go in the first half, Michigan will punt.
Always alert, fake in this type of field position.
That's Travis Wilson, the quarterback for Utah, heading to their locker room. We're going to take a closer look at him, perhaps give him a little more medical treatment. Will Hogrip to punt. Taylon Clay back deep. Goes into the end zone, which might be a good option since Clay has returned 2 punts for touchdowns already this season. The first man for Utah since Shaky Smithson in 2010 to have 2 punt returns. In the same year, here's our Pacific Life game summary. Utah leads despite just 89 yards of offense and 6 minutes time of possession. The only touchdown on that Taylon Clay punt return for a score.
Could be a problem as the game wears on. You have to give your defense some type of rest throughout this game.
Kendall Thompson is the quarterback, junior, first year at Utah, transfer from Oklahoma. Much more of a running threat. And he takes off for about 3. He was part of a spirited competition for the starting quarterback job in the preseason. It wasn't until the very end of camp that they decided it was Travis Wilson, but Thompson was a career backup at Oklahoma, has played in both games, most of the second half, in fact, in each of their first 2 games of the year. Devontae Booker ahead for 3 more. Brennan Byer made the tackle. Help from Ryan Glasgow.
The mindset changes for Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator. They feel very comfortable running the read option, the pure read option with Kendall Thompson. That's why they don't throw it on first down. With Travis Wilson, they threw the ball on every first down.
Thompson in trouble and just does throw it away as Jake Ryan was trying to sack him. Crowd wants a grounding call, and the officials are going to confer.
I'm not sure he was out that tackle box, Sean.
Michigan sidelined in an uproar with the absence of a flag, and the crowd agrees with Coach Hoke. And I think they're going to throw one now. Referee Sean Smith had a hard time finding his flag.
Excellent call.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 1. The ball did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback was in the pocket. Ball was placed at the spot of the foul. Lost it down. 4th down.
By Greg Madison, new quarterback in, 3rd down situation. You throw a blitz at him. You see how he can handle it. Utah did not handle it. Jake Ryan was able to run free to cause the intentional grounding.
Fourth down at 18. And Kyle Whittingham anticipated this look for Michigan with the punt return today. He said, our punter is so good at rolling out and kicking the ball in either direction that teams will put 2 men back. And that's what Michigan's done today. They came after Hackett and got off a good one, and a fair catch made by Jabril Peppers. They're going to mark it at the 49-yard line after a 39-yard punt. Tonight on ESPN's College Football Primetime, 2 SEC teams clash. Mississippi State's in Baton Rouge take on number 8 LSU. College Football Primetime presented by Hampton Hotels tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. LSU's won the last 14 against the Bulldogs and 21 of the last 22. State hasn't won in Baton Rouge since 1991.
Many folks picking the upset there.
On 1st and 10 for Michigan. Derek Green dump. Filippo Mokafisi took him down for about a 2-yard loss.
I'm going to tell you, Sean, the Michigan defense has generated enough 3-and-outs to create great field position for this offense. At some point, they're going to have to start taking advantage of the good field position. And one thing I would do is throw on 1st down a little bit to loosen up some of those running lanes for Derek Green. They have no success inside running, where their successes come with the outside run.
This is the best starting field position of the day for Michigan. Nearly midway through the 2nd quarter, flag down for a false start against the Wolverines.
False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
A.J. Williams, the tight end.
Funchess is not in the game. And believe me, when they see number 1 on the bench, there's a little bit of a sigh of relief for the Ute defense. He's such a weapon.
Brady Hoke has not lost a non-conference game in this stadium as Michigan head coach. 11-0. Gardner spun away from Mokafisi. Pinballed around, weaved his way across midfield. Gianni Paul and Brian Blecken combined on the stop. Gain of 9.
Mason Cole, the young true freshman offensive tackle, is going to get beat with speed by Mokafisi. But Devin has that extra. That little extra spin right there was able to buy him time and create a positive gain and good decision making by not forcing that ball downfield and taking what you can get.
3rd down and 8. Justice Hayes, their 3rd down specialist, is on the left side of Devin Gardner. Gardner deep down the middle behind Funchess, but he caught it for a 1st down. To the Utah 24, Dominic Hatfield made the tackle. Another big gainer for Funchess, 25 yards.
Well, you can't give up the inside because you're giving up the skinny post. Good spot throw by Gardner, although it's a little behind. You see at 6'5", 230 pounds with the hip swivel to be able to bring that in. That's athlete.
Started his career as a tight end. More and more they were flexing him out, and he's become a full-time wide receiver and one of the best in the country. Already 4 catches for 82 yards. And they throw it to him again off his hands and intercepted by Brian Blecken. Flag thrown on the return. Blecken across midfield. Flag was thrown well after the interception, so I'm guessing it's for an illegal block on the run back. Amara Darboe, a wide receiver, made the tackle. Just the second takeaway of the year for Utah.
After the interception and during the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 49. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Utah.
And wipes out a 45-yard return by Blecken, who has his 9th career interception.
This is on Funchess because he's short arms. Watch this. One hand, not two hands. You can't blame Devin Gardner on that. That's Funchess. I don't know, because he's shown such great hands, why he got lazy. You go with one hand, that's showing me you're not giving that effort that you need to give 100% of the time, all the time. I mean, that was a perfectly thrown football, and he was lazy with his hands. Big turnover.
Well, Whittingham said last night we need more takeaways. He thought the turnover battle might be the key to this game. They don't force many turnovers. They had 3 interceptions all of last season, and only 1 in their last 9 games. Now they have another pick from Blecken. Kendall Thompson still the quarterback. Devontae Booker, the ball carrier, taken to the ground by Joel Bolden. Funchess limping as he took a seat on the bench. 2nd and 7. Thompson in trouble after the play fake, and he's dumped back at the 13 by Mario Ojemudia.
Well, I love good defensive coordinators. Why? Because they know they can't throw the ball consistently with Thompson. So just put 9 guys up there and start blitzing. They can't handle it. They can't run it. And they can't throw it consistently.
3rd down and 12. 5 wide receivers spread the field. And the pass is picked off for a touchdown. Willie Henry scores on defense for Michigan. Just after the Utah defense got its 2nd takeaway of the season, Michigan gets its 2nd and brings it back into the end zone. Matt Wild, the extra point. Willie Henry, sophomore from Cleveland out of Glenville High School, a 7-yard return, and Michigan has tied it up.
Well, again, Sean, I'm going back to the intelligence of defensive linemen. Willie Henry's going to be lined up in a 3 technique right here. He's going to recognize his man leave him. Instead of pursuing the quarterback, he recognized that screen. Well, if I'm not going to get there, I'm going to get up in the air really quick and make an athletic play and understand that I'm going to go over to those sidelines and say, hey, offense, if you can't get it in the end zone, guess what? This tough Michigan defense will. Now, that offense has to respond, but Willie Henry made a great play and a smart football play.
Well, they're still celebrating, and Funchess relieved. Apparently that right leg is bothering him again. He ran fine on the pass play that was intercepted by Blecken. It was his inability to get both hands out for the ball. It led to the turnover. But Clark got him off the hook. Or, excuse me, Henry did. And Greg Madison was talking yesterday in our meeting about what a nice job that Willie Henry's done. All 3 of those defensive tackles play on that side. Matthew Godin, Chris Wormley gotten experience and are coming on. No chance to return it for Kalen Clay. So each team has scored 1 touchdown. Utah on special teams, Michigan on defense. Here's today's Aflac trivia question. Entering today's action, Big Ten teams are 1-10 against teams from Power 5 conferences. Which Big Ten school has the lone victory against another Power 5 conference team? You know this answer.
Yeah, I do. And Iowa added to that today with their victory over Pitt in Pittsburgh. Good road win for the Hawkeyes.
5 minutes to go. Still Kendall Thompson at quarterback. Devontae Booker got banged down by Jake Ryan. Well, the Big Ten could use some marquee wins. It has been just an awful start to the year for this conference in football, including Michigan's shutout loss in the last regularly scheduled meeting against Notre Dame in that rivalry. First time Michigan's been shut out in 30 years, and they lost 31-0 in South Bend. Trez Anderson the catch and a first down. Jabil Peppers got him out of bounds.
They were actually moving the football, but it's the critical errors that cost him in that Notre Dame game.
First completion for Thompson. Now he has another as he hits Kalen Clay in stride. Back-to-back first downs as Clay took it out to the 49-yard line. Jordan Lewis the stop.
Well, this is a nice throw right here by Kendall Thompson, and I love the adjustment by Coach Christensen. Get him involved in a little three-step to get him into some type of rhythm to get that ball into your playmaker's hands.
They blitzed Jake Ryan, and he got the primary hit on Thompson. And several other Wolverines came to the rescue, including Frank Clark.
Never give one for one. This is a play. I mean, right here, Jake's coming off the top of your screen, is able not only to take on the blocker, but avoid the blocker and make the play in the backfield. Never give one for one.
Taco Charlton also in on that play. Little screen, and somehow Booker slides through some traffic for a gain to the 49 of Michigan, where Jordan Lewis made another tackle. Busy first half for the sophomore cornerback from Detroit.
He's a good football player. He's playing well today. Tough matchup. Good athletes on the edges for the Utes.
Timeout has been called. Michigan called it. They want to be aligned correctly on defense for this 3rd down and 8. If you're just joining us, Travis Wilson, the starting quarterback, injured on this play. Nose was bloody. He has a history of concussions and a brain abnormality. His chin was scraped as well, just below the lip. He has not returned. We're still trying to get information about his status from the Utah Medical and Sports Information people. But they thought there was a good chance Thompson would play in this game anyway. They have plenty of confidence in him. Well, they lean much more heavily on the run with him in there. Blake Countess showing blitz, and he comes. Thompson throws the other way on target for a first down. Kenneth Scott, the catch. And he's fired up as he moves the chain.
Well, you have to hold your blitz, because what that did by him able to recognize the blitz coming off the backside, he's going to attack away from the blitz on the outcut and a perfectly thrown football.
9-yard gain. Now Thompson. Jake Ryan, another big play for the Michigan defense. We're nearing 3 minutes to go now in the first half. Utah on the move, trying to break a 10-10 tie. The Utes with all 3 timeouts left. Far sideline back shoulder throw, and Kenneth Scott couldn't catch it. With Jordan Lewis in coverage. We talked, Chris, about these teams believing they're better, and the big reason why the Utes think they'll be better is the return of Kenneth Scott. He missed almost all of last year when he broke his left ankle in their opening game against Weber State.
Yeah, and that's a catch that he normally makes. Kenneth is known for his strong hands.
You can't just focus all their attention on Trez Anderson. Saw a lot of double coverage last year. Movement along the line by Michigan. High snap. Thompson has some running room along the far side of the field. Has the first down. The defender out there, Ryan Glasgow, was slipping around and having a tough time keeping his balance, and that made it even easier for Thompson to go around the 300-pounder.
Well, I don't know why you have the 300-pounder in your curl coverage. Because of that reason, he lost his shoe.
Both of them.
Yeah, and Thompson recognized that. That's when he decided to tuck and run.
You got 12 on 3rd down and 9. Now they go back to Devontae Booker, who gets planted along the far sideline by DeMonte Thomas.
Thing you like about this drive, if you're a Ute fan, is you're seeing Kendall Thompson getting into a rhythm, and you see confidence growing in Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, calling plays and opening up the playbook.
Michigan is going to use its last timeout of the half. So while we have a moment, let's get another studio update from Robert Flores.
All right, Wells Fargo getting it done, Sean. Indiana for the Big Ten getting it done here. Going for it on 4th and goal, D'Angelo Roberts. It's on the SEC Network, and Indiana leads number 18 Missouri 14-7. Hoosiers haven't beaten a ranked team on the road since 2004.
Well, could be a much-needed big day for the Big Ten. You mentioned Iowa's win at Pitt.
Rutgers at Washington State. What?
You just blurted out the answer before I had a chance to repeat it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't hit your buzzer. All right, what's the answer? Go ahead.
What is Rutgers, Sean?
That's correct. Rutgers had the only win against the Power 5 team prior to today. Of course, their first year in the Big Ten. They won out west against Washington State. An exciting game. 11th play of the drive. Thompson down the far sideline, incomplete. Bubba Poole was running free, but couldn't hang on to the back corner of the end zone. DeMonte Thomas running in coverage.
Nice call right here. It's the wheel route with Bubba Poole trying to clear it out. The coverage is good, and the throw is outstanding. Just a little high. It's where he can only get it, nobody else.
And Thompson demonstrated he's more than a runner. A little bit of confusion. Timeout called. Kyle Whittingham says that's fine. Tomorrow on ESPN, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues with the Sylvania 300 from beautiful New Hampshire. Race 2 of the Challenger round with his win last week. Brad Keselowski has already punched his ticket into the contender round. Who will join him? 16 drivers battle, only 12 advance. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup in Loudon, New Hampshire tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN.
Who's in first, you know? Who's in first place in that right now? Do we know?
Brad Keselowski.
Well, that's my favorite driver. He's been my favorite driver, along with JJ.
Travis Wilson is back on the Utah sideline. He has his helmet on, but they're moving nicely. Under Thompson. 3rd down and 1. And Booker, did he get it with the second effort? They stacked him up. Brennan Byer among those with the first hit. Then Booker surged back and might have picked it up.
Good tough run by Booker. Jake Ryan again in the mix.
This first down.
Yeah. This Michigan defense is a different defense, Sean, with Jake Ryan. He's such a good football player. He solidifies that middle. Smart. And he's getting healthier and healthier each game. He's an outstanding football player.
He had a knee injury last year. They actually took a tube out of his hamstring and implanted it into his knee. Thompson kept it. Neither option was promising. It looked like they had snuffed out Booker, who might have taken the handoff. Slight loss on the play. Michigan can't stop the clock again in the half. Utah has 2 timeouts. They have plenty of time.
Now, if you're Michigan, alert number 2. Kenneth Scott, big, tall, wide receiver, weapon in the red zone. It's at the top of your screen.
Booker again. Wrestled down by Frank Clark. Brennan Byer also in on the play.
What a response by Utah's offense.
Third and 6. Utah ordinarily in a hurry, not in a hurry now. They'd like to score with as little time remaining on the first half clock as they can. And they call a timeout with 59 seconds left. Last 2 years for Utah, identical records of 5 and 7. Chris, they haven't been in a bowl game the previous 2 seasons. We talked to Coach Whittingham last night and asked him, 4th year in the Pac-12, where you're making strides now where you can be a competitive team in the conference. He said, I think our talent level is better, particularly the speed and depth, and those both appear to be the case here today.
Well, it does, and they've always had the big fellas up front to be able to compete in the Pac-12. Now they're adding, as you said, the speed and the athleticism that you need to do that. And plus, you have to have solid quarterback play. And early this year, until he was injured a little bit, Travis Wilson has provided that. So if he's healthy and they continue to get better, they'll be very competitive in the Pac-12, in my opinion.
They were a great squad in the latter days of their time in the Mountain West. The transition's been a bit rough in the Pac-12, but they think they're gaining ground. 3 for 3 already on the drive on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 6. Look out! Thompson swung down by Frank Clark. One of the best defensive linemen in the Big Ten. Pick the right time to make a big play.
Well, let's talk about an athlete. You're seeing the big man, Frank Clark, from an outside linebacker position. Let me do my best hurdler imitation. Get up and over and make a tremendous play, because he was looking for Kenneth Scott, number 2, but because he was in the throwing lane on his way to making the sack, it took his vision away.
There is a flag.
We have a dead ball, sideline interference warning on Michigan. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, that's one of the things that they're trying to emphasize. Well, Brady Hoke and Greg Madison jawing at each other. Brady Hoke looked like he was saying get off the field, and Greg Madison gave it right back to him. And they are the dearest of friends. A big reason why Greg Madison left a job in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. But John Harbaugh, as his coordinator, was to come back to Michigan and work with the man he described to us a couple of years ago as his best friend, Brady Hoke. So I think they'll kiss and make up. Maybe not kiss, but make up, certainly.
Might headbutt and make up. That's how football players do it, especially a defensive lineman and an old linebacker coach.
Yeah, they are 2 very tough guys, and Greg Madison is one of the very best in the country. Not just a great coordinator, but an excellent recruiter as well. What a bonus when you have an outstanding X and O man who can also recruit. Some confusion here. Kyle Whittingham wants some sort of explanation.
While the clock was running in under 1 minute. By rule, that's a 10-second runoff. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 27 seconds. The clock will start on the snap.
And with it being 4th down, Whittingham wants the time to come off the clock, and they like to try a field goal here with as little time left as possible.
What a great move, though, by Frank Clark, another product of Cleveland Glenville High School, to be a defensive end and line up on the outside and hurdle a running back.
We are anticipating an Andy Phillips field goal try, and here he comes. The 25-year-old we mentioned was a member of the U.S. ski team for 5 years. Downhill skiers. Kyle Whittingham said he's not worried about kicking a field goal when he's used to hurling down a mountain at about 80 miles an hour. He's used to high pressure situations.
And focus. I mean, you got to think of those skiers have that focus. And 25 years old also, as you mentioned, Sean, that helps. Maturity, understanding situations.
He's married, and he and his wife Megan just welcomed a couple of weeks ago the arrival of their firstborn son Maximus. Well, we're tied at 10, and there hasn't been an offensive touchdown in the game. Kalen Clay with his 2nd punt return for a touchdown this year. I mentioned the first one was against Idaho State, the opener, the first time he touched the ball as a youth. Chris didn't much care for the Heisman pose.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, me.
And Willie Henry didn't have a chance to do the pose. The interception, the 7-yard return, his teammates buried him before he could do his best Desmond Howard. So Utah's used its last timeout. Not often you see both teams burn all 3 timeouts in the first half, but they have. So here's Phillips. 17th play of the drive. He's 1 for 1 today from 35 yards, 2 for 2 for the year, 19 for 22 for his career, make it 20 for 23. They have tremendous kickers. Kyle Whittingham coaches the special teams. He said, with my kickers, I'm like a golf coach. Just get guys who can play golf and get out of the way. At the half, 13-10 for the Utes. The complete halftime report comes your way right after these messages.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Back at Michigan Stadium, heading for the second half. Utah leading 13-10. Despite the fact that the Utes, who came in averaging 248 yards per game rushing, have just 3 yards rushing. The Utes defense kept Michigan out of the red zone. The deepest penetration on offense for Michigan was the Utah 24. Good news for Utah. Travis Wilson back on the field, was warming up. And all indications from the Utah sideline is the starting quarterback will be able to return in the second half. You saw that hit he took during that highlight package a moment ago when he went whirly-birding through the air. Their passing game is definitely a bit more effective when he's in there.
Yeah, absolutely, and they go to it on first down, and they're going to run hitches all day. Now for Michigan, Sean, 10 out of their 14 first down plays in the first half went for less than 1 yard. They're getting themselves in bad positions, second and long, third and long, and that cuts the throat or the playbook of offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier.
Matt Weil kicks off for Michigan. Kalen Clay returned to punt for a touchdown in the first half. Here he goes again. Finally run out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Delonte Hollowell ran him out. And it looks like it will be Travis Wilson.
We will see if they go back to that same plan. They'll run slants at the top of your screen and hitches at the bottom into the field. Short routes on both sides of the field to get that running game going. Or will they try to establish a running game early?
They go to the run, and it's Bubba Poole through a big hole, and then weaving through the traffic in the Michigan territory to the 43-yard line. Joe Bolden made the tackle. It's a run of 24 for Bubba Poole.
Wow, outstanding job by Bubba Poole, being patient, allowing the blocks to set up in front of him, seeing the open area and bursting through.
They go quickly to the line. Travis Wilson rolls right, man wide open along the far sideline. Bubba Poole again, very near another first down. Brennan Byer made the stop for Michigan.
Miscommunication between Joe Bolden and Jake Ryan, two of the stellar players for the Wolverine defense. Both those guys were standing next to each other while Poole was wide open in the flat.
Wow, another big hole for Poole. It's been all Bubba Poole here to start the second half, and effectively so. Ryan Glasgow made the tackle.
Well, that's the difference with Travis Wilson at quarterback. Michigan cannot blitz because they're worried about Travis Wilson, so they're not selling out on a run like they did when Kendall Thompson was in the ball game.
Well, they go to the pistol. Canada Scott has it sail over his head with Jordan Lewis in coverage. Here we talked to Dave Christensen last night. The last 5 years was the head coach in Wyoming, and now the offensive coordinator at Utah. He said he basically scripts the entire game. A lot of coaches script the first X number of plays. There's Dave on the left. Of course, Dennis Erickson next to him was the offensive coordinator last year, co-coordinator with Brian Johnson, who left to go to Mississippi State. 2nd and 10. Another wide open receiver over the middle. Drez Anderson, touchdown. first offensive touchdown for either team in this game, and an impressive start to the second half for the Utes with their starting quarterback back in there. A 28-yard touchdown. Third of the season for Drez Anderson, senior from Riverside, California, the son of the former NFL wide receiver Flipper Anderson, played at UCLA. And Andy Phillips' extra point makes it 20-10. So in under a minute and a half, they go 67 yards in 5 plays. Drez Anderson, the touchdown, and that was easy. We're back at Michigan Stadium. Quiet now as Utah has opened up a 10-point lead. They march right down the second half. In case you missed it, video of the touchdown posted on the Sports Center app, available on your mobile devices and tablets whenever you need it. Largest lead of the game for either team. Andy Phillips picks it off about 5 yards deep, and Dennis Norfleet takes a knee.
Pre-snap reads. You're going to see Blake Countess, number 2, off of a corner blitz, and you're going to have these 3 guys congregate right here, getting picked off, allowing Drez Anderson to run a little bit of a crossing route. See, we got 3 guys covering 1, which leaves Drez Anderson all alone in the speed to the end zone. But that's recognition on the pre-snap of the corner blitz. The man-to-man cover corner got picked by the trash and garbage in front of him, which allowed Drez to get to the middle of the field wide open. And Travis Wilson, delivers a strike in stride.
And they strike quickly, as they plan to do all season long under Coach Christensen. Derek Green on first down for the Wolverines, banged down by Gianni Paul, who's had a very solid debut for the Utah Utes. Redshirt junior from Winter Haven, Florida. Transferred from the University of Miami. His former team will be in action tonight on ESPN2 in one of the big games this evening against Nebraska. 6th tackle for the former Cane, Gianni Paul. Paul was the 3rd leading tackler for the University of Miami in 2012, his last year there. Green off the right side, wrapped up by Nate Orchard at the 31. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for Michigan.
And Devin Funchess, who was limping earlier in the half, is back in the ball game. Obviously, this is Funchess time. 3rd and 4, big target. You want to get him into a one-on-one situation.
Five receivers spread the field. Gardner escapes right through the middle and gets thrown down by Brian Blecken, but he got the first down with about 4 yards to spare to the 39-yard line.
It's a nice job by Devin being patient on the quarterback draw. The receivers were a little lackadaisical in their run. No, he just came off his read, made the good decision to get the first down and keep the change moving.
Yeah, it just parted like the Red Sea there right up the middle. Gain of 8. He's rushed for 31. With 100 yards passing today, he's gone over 5,000 for his career. Stumbling, Freddie Canteen. Running like perhaps he went to the canteen before he came out of the field.
Well, he's an explosive young player, and a lot of times with young freshmen, you get so excited and the brain gets ahead of your feet and you just get a little stumbly, and Devin could have given him a better pass, but one where I think a year from now, Freddie will be off to the races on that. Be a little bit more composed. It's exciting to make a play like that. He's even a little chuckle to himself.
6-yard gain. He's a true freshman. Wilmington, Delaware, Eastern Christian Academy. Davion Smith surges forward, down just shy, it seems, of the first down marker near the 49. Nate Orchard made the tackle. Outstanding defender for Utah. Play along the defensive line as an end or linebacker.
Good job of Michigan, Sean, winning first and second down and staying on schedule. The playbook is open in these type of situations. Now you're going to find out who's tougher.
I would imagine this would be a pretty conservative play and get the first down. They pitch it out to Hayes. Good call. Utah was trying to bog down the middle of the field. They pitched it out wide to Hayes on an option look. And he was taken down by Jason Panaika.
Well, this is a situation, Sean, where you want to recognize personnel. You figure 3rd and 1, you're going to have your bigger back in there. They're going to run inside. Sneaking Justice Hayes in there was a good play by Brady Hoke and Doug Nussmeier to exploit the edges with the speed of Hayes.
Nussmeier on the field in all his previous stops as an offensive coordinator. Fresno State, Washington, Alabama. He worked from the booth. Look out! Gardner is sacked by Nate Orchard. He got away from the blitzing safety Tevin Carter, but there was nowhere to go.
Well, again, they got their number because he's dialing up blitzes right here. Both guys are going to come off the edge. And the problem Devin's having is that his head turns. So when his head turns, he has to take his eyes away from the oncoming blitzers and away from potential receivers downfield. That's just the right call at the right time by Coach Satake. See his head right there? He loses sight and vision and does not see the blitzers coming. And he makes a good decision to protect the ball and take the sack.
And play fake to his right when the running back was on his left. Which probably doesn't help the fake. Crowd hates that call. Davion Smith ridden down right at the line of scrimmage. Filippo Mokafisi, the big play for Kalani Sitake's defense.
Ex-fullback. He was hoping for the smash mouth football game today. He loves it.
He said, I love when we play a team that has a fullback. He was a fullback, played at BYU.
Well, he wanted to take a run at me last night in the meeting.
I think he did. And you probably would have engaged him in that, since you'd still like to go out there and play as well.
Wants a shot at the title, huh? All right.
5 out of 11 on 3rd down, the Wolverines. This is a long one, and Gardner's already under duress. Got away and then threw it away. Trying to make a desperation throw. Jared Norris put pressure on again. Norris had 2 sacks in the first half. The Utes are fired up. And for the 2nd week in a row, the Boo Birds starting to come out here at Michigan Stadium.
Well, they're hurting them on the outside blitz. Inside blitz, pass pro has been pretty stout for Michigan's offensive line. Anything come off the edges, they're having issues.
Will Hogrup to punt. For midfield on 4th and 22. Kalen Clay back for it. Line drive punt, that's returnable. He is chased across the sideline at the 30-yard line.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Honda, official music sponsor of ESPN College Football, and Gatorade. Gatorade knows it all begins within. Win from within.
The Michigan men's rowing team won 7 straight American Collegiate Rowing Association national championships, led by head coach Greg Hartsup. They're built around walk-ons. Many of them had a very little rowing experience before they got to Michigan. They compete on a varsity level, and obviously very successfully so. More successful than the football team right now at Michigan, which trails 20-10 as Utah has scored 10 points on its last 2 possessions, and the Utes have it back. 1st and 10 from their own 30. Bubba Poole, a big part of their touchdown drive, their first possession of this half, goes for 5 on 1st down. Jordan Lewis made the tackle.
Well, they're forcing Michigan into their nickel defense, so removing a linebacker from the box. Then the offensive line is starting to win their battles, sustaining blocks, keeping a hat on a hat.
Wilson, great job to get away. Now at the very least he should be able to throw it away. Ran back to the line of scrimmage, chased out by Taco Charlton.
The one thing that impressed me on film for Travis Wilson is this type of athletic movement. At 6'7", a lot of those times, those guys are long and gangly, and it's like turning a bus. It takes a while. He's pretty nimble and good pocket presence for the big fella.
Blitz on 3rd and 5, and it's incomplete. Well defended by Jordan Lewis, intended for Drez Anderson.
Now this is on Drez Anderson. Why he waits for the ball to get him as opposed to going out and snatching the ball. You become a body catcher, you'll drop him. If you become a hand catcher, you'll make that catch. You see how that ball got into the shoulder pads? You got to go catch it with your hands. Flipper did. You can do it too.
Flipper played for 10 years in the NFL. Drez's dad. There's Tom Hackett to punt it away. They do have 2 men back team again. Brady Hoke talked yesterday about what a great weapon Hackett is for Utah. And he has been again today. Norfleet made a catch after a 50-yard punt. The net of 50, and that's just about what their net is for the year. They lead the country in net punting. Punting. And their putting's probably pretty good too. On ESPN's Monday Night Football, Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears are in the Meadowlands to take on Geno Smith and the Jets. Chicago and New York, Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. No other night is Monday night. Both of those teams are 1-1. Chicago off the big upset win at San Francisco last weekend, and the Jets blew a big lead in Green Bay.
You see Geno Smith getting better and better. Tough too, hangs in there, takes shots, and delivers the ball downfield.
Michigan needs to establish some offense. Gardner, nice catch in the flat. First career catch for Derek Green. And it was a one-handed catch on a ball over his head. Good for 14 yards before Nate Orchard took him down.
Well, again, Utah is pretty solid in their back-end coverage. Devin Gardner did not run, but gave it to his athlete and running back in the field there, Green, who bails Devin Gardner out, by the way, with a nice one-handed catch. I like the call, though. Very aggressive. Play action on the first down, sending guys on post.
Gardner has a little bit of a seam. Paid the price. Hunter Dimmick lost his helmet as he was in on the tackle. Brian Blecken gave it a little love before he gave it back to him. Gardner managed to get 7.
One thing I'll never question about number 98, Devin Gardner, is his toughness. I mean, he takes a shot from 3 Utes and bounces up. Ooh, I hate to see that head in that prone position with the eyes down. That's where it gets dangerous.
Gianni Paul, the last to deliver the blow, number 13. Green on 2nd and 3. Powers for the first down. They're starting to look like a running back who was one of the most highly touted running back prospects in the country coming out of high school in Richmond, Virginia. As Chris said earlier, had a very disappointing freshman year in large part because he was out of shape. He's about 222 right now. He was 248 when he got here last year. He's already run for more yards than he did all of last season. High snap, great catch by Gardner. Green running out of room and dropped for a loss. This is a Utah defense that runs well, and they just ran it down.
Fawanuku right there, 5'11", 298 pounds, showing some speed to get to the edge. And they have depth on their defensive line. They've always been good and strong. And that's something they take pride in, is their run defense. They've done a good job today for the most part.
Leading the country coming in and tackles for loss and sacks. That was against Idaho State and Fresno State, and Fresno's way down from where they've been the last couple of years. They're doing it again today against Michigan. Gardner takes the check down. Khalid Hill, the tight end, a short gain. Monaika, another stop. Jason's a redshirt junior. Pleasant Grove, Utah. Played a couple of years at Utah State, then went on a LDS church mission to Indianapolis. Came back to play at Utah to be a little closer to his dad, who's been battling colon cancer.
Well, it's Funchess time right here. 3rd and 8. So you look to get Funchess and open. He's out here wide, and they got the matchup that they want against Rowe. Now, if he doesn't have anything, he's going to tuck it and try to get it on his own on the first.
Gardner looking the other way and then sets up a little screen to Justice Hayes, who gets knocked down very close to the marker. And where's the line judge going to spot it? Looks like it's short of that yellow line. Gianni Paul knocked him down. Doug Nussmeier and Brady Hoke talking things over.
Good hustle by Gianni Paul coming from his linebacker spot.
They're going for it on 4th down. Gardner keeps and has the first down. Doug Nussmeier, as we mentioned, has always been in the booth, but he said this year, working with a new quarterback, first year in the system for Devin Gardner, he wanted to be able to talk to him directly during Gardner's time off the field. Brady hopes that from time to time he needs to pull Nussmeier back because Doug still wants to go in and play. He was a terrific quarterback at Idaho. Threw for nearly 11,000 yards when he was in college and had some time in the NFL. Davion Smith took a pop from Gianni Paul. Gain of 2.
That's tough for an offensive coordinator. Spent all those years in the booth. And the one thing those guys trust is their eyes. Well, you can't use your eyes as much as you can do from the booth on the field. So then he has to have good communication with the guys in the box. And they have to see what he sees and feel what he feels in order for him to call a good game. And he's been pretty good today.
Relies on Jeff Heklinski, the wide receiver coach, and Fred Jackson, the running backs coach, who are upstairs. It is a lot harder to see from field level. Gardner throws, and a big hit by Tevin Carter to make sure that Davion Smith didn't catch it.
Well, this is on Devin Gardner. Again, you want to get the ball in transition, so it's smooth transition. When you force your receiver, Smith, to turn back like that, bad things happen. Big hits on the receiver or turnovers and tip balls.
Chris, I'm very impressed by how well coached Utah is on defense. Really on both sides of the ball. But it's almost as if they have a pretty good idea where the ball's going before it's going there. They have guys who can run to it now. Adding speed on the perimeter on both sides of the ball. Kyle Whittingham is the big key to competing in the Pac-12, and he thinks they've done that. 3rd and 8. Gardner forced to pull it down. Throws. Nifty catch short of the first down. Amara Darboe got hit by Justin Thomas. Nice catch by the sophomore from Des Moines, Iowa. 10 different receivers now have caught a pass today for Michigan. And Brady Hoke looks like he's going to go for it on 4th and 3 from the Utah 40-yard line.
Yeah, I like the call. Now, for Utah, this is obvious, and it's captain obvious, but you got to alert the hard count. Anytime you're under that 5 yards, alert that hard count.
2 for 2 on 4th down today is Michigan. Green, the lone back. 11th play of the drive. Design run perhaps for Gardner. Yes, it is. Will he get there? No! He got banged down short of that yellow line. The ball came out after he was down. Now it looks like they're saying fumble recovered by Utah. Doug Nussmeier out on the field to argue, and he's told immediately to get back. They've already had a penalty for sideline interference. And I don't think it matters either way whether it's a fumble or down because they were short.
1st down, Utah.
Well, it's a run-pass option for Devin Gardner. And he made the decision to run just a tad early, which allowed guys from the back end to come off their coverage and become run defenders. And he is down before that ball comes out.
Further review is underway in the booth. Steve Beckman out of the Big Ten is the replay official. I think he was down, Chris, before the fumble. You know, his body was down as he was extending the ball out.
It's a good effort by Gardner to try to get to first, having some field awareness, having to navigate his way through 3 Utes.
Jared Norris, another big hit. There's his knee down there, and he's well short of that yellow line. So I think if anything, they might move the ball back closer to the original line of scrimmage. Utah might gain a half yard or so.
Right knee hit at the
After
bottom.
further review,
0.
the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was short of the line of the game. First down, Utah.
No fumble. He was down short of the line to make, which certainly looked to be the case after the replay review. Brady Hoke's team is in big trouble with 1.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Down by 10 at a very quiet Michigan Stadium. Tonight on ESPN's college football prime time, the SEC opener for Mississippi State and LSU as they go head-to-head in Baton Rouge. College football prime time presented by Hampton Hotels tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Also available live on Watch ESPN. Les Miles' team ranked number 8 already with a marquee non-conference win over Wisconsin. We'll get into that conversation for who's in the college football playoff. They have the talent to have a chance when it's all said and done. They have to run through that tough SEC. Devontae Booker. Frank Clark got enough of him to take him down with a little help at the end from Brennan Beyer. Approaching a minute left in the third quarter. Utah the ball at a 10-point lead. Travis Wilson gave it off, and Booker is swarmed by Jake Ryan, Mario Jamudia. They have a nice little tandem there, running back. They listed as co-starters, Devontae Booker and Bubba Poole.
Yeah, and Coach basically said they're the same guy. And the same guy's giving Michigan a run read. Anytime they're in that one-back formation, and the back is deeper than the quarterback, it's been inside run. And I think Michigan has picked up that little tidbit.
Third down and 4. Michigan desperately needs a 3-and-out here. Wilson under duress, throws, caught. Tim Patrick across the field and out of bounds in Michigan territory at the 35-yard line.
It's a man beater in a crossing route, and speed just beats speed. Patrick coming all the way from the inside. You're matching up number 25 Thomas on him. He's coming from the safety position, poor angle, and Patrick just outruns him to the sidelines.
That was a great story. Came as a walk-on in fall camp and was so impressive. He earned a scholarship by the time fall camp was over. Wes Anderson the catch. Patrick's out of Grossmont College. And he said a week or so ago he was still trying to learn his teammates' names. When you show up in August in the middle of the camp, there's 100 more guys on the program. Takes a while to get to know everybody. They're getting to know him. He's becoming an important part of this Utah team. Third quarter controlled by the Utes. They're up by 10 and looking for more as we head to the fourth. ESPN's coverage of college football continues from the Big House Michigan Stadium, where, as you can see, there are plenty of empty seats again this week. Many of the folks who were here have started to head for the exits, with Michigan down by 10 and Utah driving. And the rain has returned. Not particularly heavy at the moment. Possibility that it could intensify here in the next little bit as we look at the radar. 2nd and 6 Utah. They're at the Michigan 31. And Devontae Booker got a yard, and that's all. The attendance here, Chris, has been an issue. They have a streak of 254 games in a row at home dating back to 1975. They've drawn more than 100,000 fans, but last week they had 102,824, their smallest crowd since 1995.
I never thought I would see that in a big house. Great tradition, great fans.
Trying to bring pressure, and Wilson throws incomplete. Looked like Utah got away with a hold up the middle on the pass rush.
Willie Henry, again, he's played well. The whole front four of Michigan's defense, front seven, basically, is pretty darn good. The whole defense has played well for the most part.
So it'll be a long field goal try for Andy Phillips, who's 2 for 2 today. 35 and 38. This is from 47. Tom Hackett, the punter, is the holder. Chase Dominguez, the snapper. And they execute perfectly. They are about as good in special teams as you can be. And when you're trying to pull off a big win on the road, that can be the difference maker. Officially a 48-yarder for Phillips. And the lead has grown to 13 for Utah.
I'm Robert Flores with this Dr. Pepper conference update from the SEC. Alabama has turned it over 4 times. The last one turns into a Jeff Driscoll touchdown. But Alabama has just scored a go-ahead score. They lead 27-21 third quarter. Sean.
All right, Robert, thank you. Back here in Ann Arbor, Utah now leads 23-10. The Utes get ready to kick off the opening minute of the fourth quarter. They just announced to the crowd that severe weather is approaching and is expected here within 20 minutes. Dennis Norfleet will down Andy Phillips' kickoff. There was a lightning strike detected about 10 miles away. If it gets within 8 miles, they will automatically have to suspend play for at least 30 minutes. So hopefully it's moving away. Some of the fans have moved away. With their team down 23-10.
I'm going to watch Devin Funchess this series. To me, he was limping a little bit on some of his routes. I'm not sure he's 100% healthy, which obviously hurts the scoring chances for the Michigan offense. Down at the bottom of your screen.
Gardner steps up and then shoveled it ahead to Derek Green. Ooh, he got planted by Tevin Carter after he got the first down to the 37-yard line.
Well, again, for all you youth coaches out here, take a look at this, because this is the proper technique. 1 step and wrap, 2 steps and squeeze, head across the bow and run through your target. Oh, and by the way, come with some bad intentions, like he did. Clean bad intentions. Love it.
Gardner throws, intercepted. Threw it right to Gianni Paul. And Utah will take over in Michigan territory at the 47-yard line.
Gianni Paul reading the eyes of Devin Gardner. Good quarterbacks will move people with their eyes. Now watch Gianni as the play develops. He's going to stare down the look of Devin Gardner. Devin gives a quick little look, which forced there, but he comes right back to his target, and Gianni just follows the target right to the path of the ball. Devin, I think, knew it right away when he threw that football.
Well, what a debut as a Ute for Gianni Paul, as Gardner's thrown his second interception of the day. Utah goes for the kill as they go to a flea flicker. Up for grabs and broken up by Jordan Lewis, who had good coverage on Kenneth Scott.
One guy that's played his heart out today is Jordan Lewis. He does not panic in this situation because Scott is about 6'3.5", and he does a good job of boxing out, and Jordan Lewis got away with a pull and a hold right there. Right here, see that little pull before he got it? Ooh, good mulligan by him.
Travis Wilson keeps, even after he got pushed on that play that sent him to the locker room in the first half. No lack of courage. Brian Monet, a native of Salt Lake City, Utah, made the tackle for Michigan.
When your leader does this, Sean, not only do the guys on the field get excited, but I watched that Ute sideline. Everybody exploded and started jumping up and down because they know their leader's giving everything he has, and they're feeding off of that energy.
10-yard gain. Trying to set up a screen. Now it's over the middle. for Tim Patrick to the 21-yard line. Stop made by Joe Bolden. There's a flag down. It stands. It's good for a 16-yard gain. It looks like it's coming back.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 68. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. We play first down.
J.J. Dielman, the right tackle, sophomore, first-year starter. Got very little playing time as a redshirt freshman last year. Was in for just 12 snaps, so he's brand new. They announced it on 68, but we think it was on number 60, the center. Siasi Iono. We had a chance to look at the replay. It was clearly him. But he has long hair, so maybe the referee couldn't see his number. Frank Clark takes down Bubba Poole. That's a good way to make sure you don't get called for a penalty. Have your hair obscure your number. That was a problem I never had.
They're pretty solid up front. Good offensive line. It's meant a lot of times offensive linemen's hands get caught in that face mask area. You have to have the discipline to get it off right away.
They're back in their own territory are the Utes. 2nd and 27. Wilson zips one out here. Drez Anderson got wrestled down. Channing Stribling, backup cornerback, made the tackle.
That's a big time throw right there. Hash mark, far hash to the sidelines on a rope. It's one thing Coach Christensen was talking about last night, the strength of Wilson's arm. He's cut down on turnovers. He just makes better decisions, and that's coaching. And him going through the reps and getting experience. But it all ties together, and he's taking advantage of it.
He threw 16 interceptions in 9 games last year. He hasn't thrown one this year. Kendall Thompson threw one earlier in the game, the only interception thrown by Utah in 3 games. Turning it over and not taking it away were big problems last year for Utah. Tuesday, don't miss the season premiere of ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. From out of the ashes, a new team rises because the world can save itself. It's an all-new season of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiering Tuesday at a new time, and I know Chris is making note of this right now. 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC.
Let me ask you a question. I'm thinking about this right now. Let's see how this game plays out. At what point do you say, all right, when are we going to go to the backup? When are we going to go to Shane Morris? I mean, you're taking a look at the game against Notre Dame. The offense generated 0 points, 0 touchdowns. The game against Utah, the offense has generated 0 touchdowns. I mean, it's a discussion that you have to have eventually.
Morris, the backup quarterback who started their bowl game last year against Kansas State. Wilson has a lot of running room. Out of bounds. On 3rd down and 19, he at least got them back into field goal range.
6'7" legs cover a lot of ground, don't they? Because he outruns Jake Ryan, and Jake Ryan can run. And when he gets going, it's those long legs. A good decision by him to get out of bounds to protect himself because he knows his kicker has the leg to boot one in from 50.
14-yard gain to set up a 50-yard field goal opportunity. He's already 3 for 3, made one from 48 not long ago. This is big. This would make it a 16-point lead. Michigan would have to get 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. My goodness. This is a guy who never kicked in a football game until he walked on at the University of Utah. Ever. Not youth football, not high school football, ever.
Soccer player, and his dad encouraged him, hey, why don't you go out for football? Can't be that hard. He's a great athlete, though. Anybody can go downhill on skis at 80 miles per hour. Woo.
Look at our game summary. Brought to you by Pacific Life. Kalen Clay, his 3rd return for a touchdown this season in 3 games. 2nd punt return. That was the first Utah touchdown. Michigan's defense scored its only touchdown. That's the only reception thrown this year by Utah by Kendall Thompson. Willie Henry ran it in from 7 yards out. Thompson was in there because Wilson was upended on that play. Wilson returned in the second half. They scored on their first possession of the second half. Drez Anderson, 28-yard touchdown score. And they're pulling away. We are told that a suspension in play could be imminent as Lightning has moved closer to Michigan Stadium. Norfleet, the first non-touchback from Andy Phillips today, and Dennis Norfleet brought it back across the 25-yard line.
Well, I'm Doug Nussmeier. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going my 4-minute or 6-minute offense to go a little tempo. If I get a little tempo going, maybe I can establish some rhythm. But you have to get moving here because you're not moving the ball down the field. You got to go tempo to try to get back in this ball game.
Well, you called it. They're going to the backup quarterback. Shane Morris comes in with 10:46 to go. Sophomore from not far away in Warren, Michigan. He's a lefty. Had to pull it down and then threw in the direction of Devin Funches. Broken up by Brian Blecken. That is a good-looking secondary that Utah runs out there.
Good because they're smart and they're never out of position. And what that tells me is they're well coached. Coach Atake, not bad for an offensive guy coaching defense.
Kyle Whittingham was the defensive coordinator at Utah before he became the head coach. And was terrific because there with Urban Meyer. Justice Hayes pulled down by Gianni Paul.
Well, he was excited to play, as you mentioned earlier in the game. Speaking of Gianni Paul, and he's played well. I mean, really well. And linebacker was a position where they had some injuries.
He was recruited by Dennis Erickson to Arizona State. Was thinking seriously about going there. Decided it was too far from home in Florida. Went to Miami instead. Didn't like it. So when he was looking for some place to go, Dennis Erickson was here as an assistant at Utah, and that's how he wound up at Ute. He has 10 tackles and an interception in his Utah debut. Morris on 3rd and 7. Pulls it down and runs. And gets spilled as he picks up the first down. Justin Thomas upended him with just under 10 minutes to go. It's a all-important first down for the Wolverines.
Nice job by Shane Morris, not forcing anything, having the vision to see the open area to get the first down with his feet. Good composure for coming off the bench.
He was very composed in that start we were there for in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. Their loss to Kansas State in their bowl game. 239 yards of total offense against K-State. Completed passes to 9 different receivers in that game. Zips one short. Again, Jared Norris right there for Utah to dump Dennis Norfleet.
Once again, Sean, I think that Utah's going to give them underneath stuff. They're going to protect the back end so nothing over the top. So if I'm Coach Nussmeier, I really want to start thinking about going a little bit more tempo here because you're playing into Utah's hands right now. Going slow. 14 on the shot clock right now and dropping.
2nd and 6. Short throw to A.J. Williams. He's about a yard short of the first down. The rain is starting to fall much harder now. We have not seen any flashes of lightning from where we are. And now Morris on the keeper. When he started against K-State, he was the first Michigan quarterback ever to make his starting debut in a bowl game.
Did a nice job.
Highly touted prospect out of high school. And again, he's taking a long time to communicate the play. Steps into a nice pocket and throws, intercepted. Threw it too high, and Tevin Carter has blockers. Tevin Carter taken down by the quarterback Morris, or it was another touchdown for Utah. And then a late flag thrown near where the tackle was made. the Utah defense had 1 interception in the last 9 games and only 3 in the previous 14. They've had 3 today. And it is pouring now.
Well, the ball gets away from Shane right there.
Sideline interference against the Utah bench. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Utah.
First of all, outstanding protection. The protection is stout. He has a pocket to step up into. Right here, the ball's going to flutter. See that ball flutter a little bit? He had the receiver open in J.U. Chesson. But Tevin Parker, again, being disciplined where you're supposed to be, good things happen. Shane saves the touchdown, which would have been called back.
59-yard return. They took 15 off it because of the penalty. And again, that's a big point of emphasis this year. Control of the sidelines. They've just announced to the crowd because of lightning in the vicinity, they are suspending play. The teams are going to the locker rooms. And we will have a weather delay. It'll be a minimum of 30 minutes, and if they resume, I doubt there's going to be very many fans left in the stands. As a matter of fact, after that interception, I think the risk of lightning striking somebody who was actually in the stands was going to be low because there wasn't going to be very many people left. Nope. So play suspended with Utah leading by 16, 7:41 remaining. And Michigan's 18-game non-conference home winning streak is in very serious jeopardy. We'll check in with the studio right after this. Had it, and maybe not. It might have squirted out. It did. Utah ball.
Gino Paul comes up with it, number 13.
Continuing his remarkable debut. Boy, it looked like Jack Miller, the center, fell right on it. Hunter Dimmick stripped Morris. And there's Miller. But apparently it squirted out to his right.
I'll tell you, Gianni Paul has just been outstanding for the Utes tonight, getting a big lift for their defense. Was looking forward to this game and has played well, big, and has made big plays, fumble recovery, interception, and a ton of tackles. And wins the battle for the football.
13 tackles, the interception, and now the fumble recovery that should put it away just when, if you were a Ute fan, you had to be getting a little bit nervous. The field goal hits the upright. Michigan converts a couple of 3rd and longs. The turnover brings about a big sigh of relief for those in Salt Lake City tonight. Bubba Poole, the ball carrier. 4 more turnovers for Michigan. And they're not going to beat anybody if they continue to turn it over as they had. Coming into today's game, they had committed 8 turnovers in 3 games. The only teams in the country that had committed more were Tulsa, Louisiana Lafayette, and Vanderbilt with 9 each.
Yeah, that's
quite possible Michigan could lead the country in turnovers after tonight.
It's -10 on the year after 3 games, and they're just kind of continuing their ways from last year. The bugaboo of this Michigan team has been the turnovers.
They're -3 today. They were -4 in their shutout loss at Notre Dame. Jake Ryan makes the tackle on Bubba Poole, but the clock will run down toward 3 minutes. They can actually take it under 3 minutes before they snap it again for 3rd down and 2.
You know, the concerning thing for Coach Hoke and his offense, they have not scored a touchdown against Notre Dame. They have not scored a touchdown against another Power 5 school in Utah. And they could score them on Appalachian State.
On offense.
On offense, thank you, yes.
Didn't score at all against Notre Dame, and they were shut out for the first time since 1984. 3rd and 2. Wilson keeps and picks up the first down. Demonte Thomas knocked him down, and that should do it. Not that the outcome was in serious doubt, but that's a huge step toward cementing the victory. We talked about the non-conference home winning streak for Michigan, which is about to end at 18 in a row, dating back to 2008, Rich Rodriguez's first year. But Utah is 1-8 outside of the state of Utah. the previous 2 seasons. Their only win outside of their home state came at Colorado, the final game of 2012. All 5 of their wins last year were in the state of Utah. Bubba Poole carries. Here's the Utes' remaining schedule. Washington State coming into Salt Lake City, and then a very tough stretch.
Now you look at that game at UCLA, and I think Kyle feels like he has a team that can compete for the Pac-12 championship. And it's the first time he's felt like that. And remember, their past 2 seasons in the Pac-12, they're combined 10-14. It's time for them to start getting up to the level where they need to be and where they expect to be.
Yep, he's felt all along like they were strong enough in the middle. Of course, they had a disappointing year last year with only 5 wins, but one of those wins was against Stanford, which really did damage to Stanford's national championship hopes, obviously, in a smash mouth. I mean, there's no more power football team in college football than Stanford, and that's one of the reasons why. And we talked to both coaching staffs yesterday. The Utah guys were struck us by how relaxed they were.
Amazing.
And their players, too. The Michigan people, there's palpable tension in that football building right now.
It's pressure. I mean, they're kind of forcing things, and it shows in how they play.
Devontae Booker slides down to the 41. Michigan will use another timeout. Mario Ojemudia made the tackle for the Wolverines. They're home next week with Minnesota as they begin their Big Ten schedule. Then a tough stretch for them. Rutgers had a good win today against Navy. Watched the College Game Day. A lot of our pickers like Navy in that game. Penn State comes here, then they're at Michigan State. One of the remarkable things about their schedule, and some people think it's a reason why their attendance is down, the Michigan State game, the Ohio State game, and the Notre Dame game they already played, all of them on the road.
Well, and they have to take care of business at home. And if I'm Brady, this is what I do. I mean, if you're going in this game, everybody's going to be down. Everybody's going to be on Coach Hope. You got to sell the Big Ten conference. You got to say we can be Big Ten champions. That's all you sell. That's all you talk about.
That's what he said to us yesterday. We believe we can win the championship. And if they can, it's only because it's a league that's not very strong. Because this is a very ordinary football team right now, and has been for several seasons. Joe Bolden makes the tackle on Devontae Booker. Michigan can't stop it again. They're out of timeouts. And this would be a huge win for Kyle Whittingham. So much success when he first took over, and of course he inherited a lot of success from Urban Meyer. They had the 13-0 year 2008 when he was the national coach of the year. They beat Alabama, then ranked number 4 in the Sugar Bowl. They finished number 2 in the AP poll. But the transition to the Pac-12 has been rough. They're 9-18 in league play.
Yeah, and he knows they have to get better, and I'm sure he feels pressure. But the other difference is where they're getting good play, they're getting good play on defense, they're getting quarterback play. I mean, Travis, so far this year, is a different quarterback than he was last year, and the number one reason why is he's protecting the football. He had 0 interceptions, and last year he threw 16.
By the way, it's the first time in the history of the Michigan program they played Notre Dame, Michigan State, and Ohio State all on the road in the same season. Tom Hackett on the punt, 4th down and 9. Wow, we talk about the great special teams play. Eric Rowe rescued it from going into the end zone. He was the guy who said to Kyle, I've heard there are a number of good punters down in Australia. Sounds like a good excuse for an assistant coach to go on vacation, but Kyle sent him down there, and he came back with Hackett, who might be the best punter in the country. A number of kicking academies have sprung up in the country of Australia. Morris straddling the back of the end zone, throws a deep ball, and it is almost caught. Boy, if you're the Utah defenders, how can you let Norfleet get behind you? You can't let anybody get behind you in this instance.
Exactly, and that's why you get everybody back. Shea Morris showing off the arm, threw that one about 65 yards in the air. And you know, that's kind of been the story of Michigan, almost a good catch, almost the first down.
Norfleet not getting up. And now, with already a lot of speculation about Brady Hoke, that will intensify. And now you have a quarterback controversy. There was already some fans and media locally were wondering why Morris wasn't playing. Brady Hoke's been pretty definitive about saying Gardner's the starting quarterback. And I'm not going to make a change. Well, he did make a change, at least for this game.
Well, I think you have to revisit that. And what kind of offense do you want to be? And you have to look at production. I mean, Devin Gardner throughout his career has been very good at times and very average. That's the facts. You can't hide from the facts. The problem is when you go up against power schools or bigger schools like Notre Dame and like Utah, and you haven't produced an offensive touchdown, then you have to ask yourself, am I doing what's best for the football team? I love Devin Gardner, great kid, competitor. But if you're not getting it done, you're not getting it done, and it might be time to give another guy a shot.
Norfleet looks like he has some sort of right shoulder injury. When it started so well for Brady Hoke here, 11-2 in his first year, after the difficult 3 years for Rich Rodriguez. They won the Sugar Bowl, beat Virginia Tech. We were there for that. Everybody was hailing Brady Hoke, the return of a Michigan man to Michigan. Didn't play here, go to school here, but he had coached here and professed his love for Michigan. Look out, Morris got it away in the end zone. Falls incomplete. He got knocked down. It'll be 3rd and 10. I think, Chris, you and I know this is true because we were here a lot back then. This really started at the end of the Lloyd Carr era. Rich Rodriguez said he was surprised by how little talent was here. That's been backed up by the number of players they had drafted in that time period when Rich Rodriguez was here. Brady Hoke has, at least according to the services, had maybe 8 losses in their last 12 games.
Yeah, and they're looking for their young talent to step up, and it hasn't stepped up. And you know, when you change philosophies too, Sean, from Lloyd.
Wow. That would have been a fitting conclusion. Morris managed to avoid the safety and get rid of it. Hunter Dimmick had a chance for the 2-pointer and didn't get him down. Now it's 4th and 10.
Well, here's the problem. You go from Lloyd Carr, who was a pro-style offense, right? Then you go to Rich Rodriguez, who was hurry up, spread option offense. But Rich recruited a different type of player. Now you bring in Brady, then you bring in Al Borges. Now Al Borges, because of Denard Robinson, is trying to run pro style, trying to run the spread option. You got to get your identity back, and that's why I believe he brought in Doug Nussmeier to establish a pro style type of offense. Well, guess what? Shane Morris is a pro style type quarterback, and until they get their identity back, they're going to struggle.
This is the 4th year of Brady Hoke, so they've had a few seasons now to recruit the kind of players they want. Drop pass by Justice Hayes on 4th and 10. So after a field goal on their first offensive possession of the game, Michigan goes 11 straight offensive possessions without scoring. Turned it over 4 times along the way. And the Utah Utes, for the 3rd time since 2002, they come to Michigan Stadium for the 2nd time in a row. They're going to go home with a win. Won here in 2008. It was a springboard to a perfect season. Perhaps this is the start of a big year for the Utes.
Great confidence builder as they head into conference play. It's tough. It's tough to travel cross country and do this and pretty much dominate the game beside that first series.
He'll take a knee, and that will just about do it with 41 seconds to go. And they won't have to snap it again. Brady Hoke falls to 2 and 2. And Utah and Kyle Whittingham, very impressive 3-0. I think we touched upon earlier, Chris, you and I were very impressed by Kyle and his assistants last night. When we talked to them, they just seemed to almost know that what happened today was going to be what happened.
You know, there's a difference when we talk to coaches. There's false optimism, and then there's genuine confidence. And in talking to Kyle and his coaching staff, they portrayed genuine confidence.
So they're 3-0, and Michigan will try to regroup. 16 unanswered points for Utah to win the game after it was tied at 10 late in the first half. And again, Michigan, Chris, problem one that they need to solve is the turnovers. If you turn it over 4 more times tonight, 12 turnovers now in 4 games, you're going to lose.
Yeah, and that's been their issue. The other issue is they didn't get the ball in the red zone. I don't think they got the ball in the red zone the whole night.
They did not.
And you know, I mean, you're Michigan, and that's a problem. And offensively, they're having struggles. So, you know, you might not want to make the change. You might see loyalty to Devin Gardner, but for the good of the program, you have to make the decision. Is it Devin Gardner or does Shane Morris, moving forward, give us a better chance to win?
Utah wins despite just 286 yards of offense. Michigan had 308 yards of offense. But obviously the big difference in an otherwise pretty even game statistically, those 4 Michigan turnovers, Utah turned it over once. Travis Wilson was 14 for 20 for 172 yards and a touchdown, but just as importantly, he did not turn it over. Kyle Whittingham told us last night, I think the key to the game will be the turnover battle, and he was right. They were +3, and they win. Trez Anderson, 6 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown for Utah. Devin Gardner started, went 14 for 26 for 148, 2 interceptions for Michigan. Morris off the bench, 4 for 13 for 41 yards and an interception. Well, we're pleased to be joined down on the field by the winning coach, Kyle Whittingham. Coach, congratulations. You must be very proud of your team here today.
We got some volume.
All right, we need to give Coach a little more volume in his headset down there.
Higher.
He's still coaching.
Hey, there we go.
There you go. Hey, Kyle, it's Sean McDonough and Chris Spielman. We appreciate you coming over. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. But, Chris, what are you doing here? Your kid's playing, man. You got to get out of here.
Yeah, we talked with Kyle last night. Chris's son Noah plays at Toledo, and I think they're in a delay, so Chris might make it.
I hope so.
Kyle, speaking of the delay, what did you talk to your team about? Was there any discussion about perhaps not even coming back on the field and ending the game?
No, none of that discussion. We were just taking it minute by minute, literally. You know, they'd update us and tell us what was going on, what the possibilities were. Fed them some food, got some nutrition in them, got them off their feet, took their pads off. You know, it ended up being a little over 2 hours, and I think we handled it as best as we could have, and the kids responded, came back out, and finished the deal.
How nervous were you when you saw your quarterback, Travis Wilson, go down, Coach?
Yeah, that was a little bit of a scary moment. I'll tell you what, Travis is tough as nails, and just can't tell you how much he means to this football team, and to have him back and leading our team is, you know, it's great. We really appreciate the toughness that he displays every single week.
Yeah, it really seems to permeate your entire team. When we chatted last night, you said, you know, we think we're better, a little more speed on the perimeter, a lot more depth, but we've played 2 games against teams that were better than. Now we're going to learn a lot more about ourselves. What do you think you learned most of all here today?
Well, I'll tell you what, we played some defense today. We gave up 1 field goal. You know, the touchdown was on the pick 6 by the defensive lineman of Michigan. And so great job with our defense. You know, offensively, we didn't get as on track as I thought we might, but they did enough. They took care of the football, just the 1 turnover. Defense generated some takeaways, and special teams came up big again, you know, with the punt return for a touchdown, and Tom Hackett's punting, and Andy Phillips, other than that 1 doink off the goalpost there at the end. He was perfect otherwise.
Who's the special teams coordinator, Coach?
I don't know. Who's some bum? We got some bum running the special teams.
Yeah, your special teams, it's hard to imagine how they could be much better. And you said last night you really thought the #1 key would be the turnover battle. In the end, you were right. You were +3, I believe, for the game.
Yeah, you're not going to lose many football games at +3. And we finally got some interceptions. We had been interceptionless all season, well, the first 2 games, and came away with 3, I think, and a fumble recovery. And it's great to have Johnny Paul in the lineup. He comes in at a great time for us. We lost Jason Whittingham, our middle linebacker, last week, and Johnny steps in and picks up the slack and does a great job.
Yeah, he was terrific.
Terrific team win. Congratulations. Enjoy the flight home.
Thank you, guys. Sorry for the delay, Chris, but get there, man.
All right.
Get there.
Thanks,
All right.
Coach.
Okay.
Coach Whittingham. Big win for the Utah Utes. Final score, Utah 26 and Michigan 10. For Chris Spielman, who's on his way to the parking lot, our producer, Bo Garrett, our director, Mike Schwab, and our terrific crew. They'll all get paid overtime, we hope. Sean McDonough, so long.
This year, all roads lead to the birthplace of innovation and Silicon Valley's brand new state-of-the-art Levi's Stadium. 1.8 million square feet of next-generation football. The Pac-12 Football Championship game, December 5th, 2014. This isn't just about bragging rights. It's about respect. Legacy is on the line. Tickets available now at pac12.com/tickets.